Properly rigging your inflatable fishing kayak can be the difference between an unbelievable day of fishing filled with laughter and enjoyment and smooth paddling, or it could mean a day filled with frustration from losing fish and losing gear and not being able to hold everything that you need. So let's talk about the best way to rig an inflatable kayak, whether you're fishing on the lake, the river, or a creek. Until recently, I didn't believe that inflatable kayaks would make good fishing kayaks. But then I began testing the Wilderness Systems iAtak 110, and if you want to see that review, I'll leave it linked right here. But it was after a couple trips out in this very kayak that I was like, okay, I can see why people would use an inflatable kayak for fishing, and it's made me a believer. I actually enjoy fishing out of this kayak way more than I expected to. However, coming from hard-sided kayaks, I found it impossible to rig this kayak and make it truly my own, because hard-sided kayaks use the track system and the T-bolts, and this didn't have either. So I spoke with a buddy at Railblaza, and he told me to try out the Starport HD mounts, which are specifically designed to fit inflatable kayaks if they have the proper pattern already installed. So I've got a handful of these Starport HDs to install. I'm gonna show you how easy it is, and I've even got a few Railmount brackets to install on the front. So let's stop wasting time and let's get to it. All right, so first, let's start with the Starport. Open it up. There's that. Toss all my trash in one place so it's easier to find. Here we go. Super simple. If you're kind of handy with a screwdriver, you'll be able to do this. So let's dump these out so we can reach them. All right, looks like it's gonna fit perfectly. However, which way you want to do it, it really doesn't matter, because this Starport, you can angle it however you want. So if you want the lock on the outside, put it on the outside. If you want it on the inside, put it on the inside. I think it's easier to reach on the inside, but like I said, it really doesn't fully matter. So all we're gonna do is put a washer on, and in here there are already built-in inserts. So in theory, what we should have to do is drop that in and twist. I don't know what was on that screwdriver. Looks like sheetrock. And it's not working. Let's make sure it's the right size. Something's not on. Something's not right. Uh-oh. Well, we learned something today. Those bolts do not work in it, but here's how easy it is. When you do have the right bolts, I ended up having some in a spare box. Put it in there, tighten it down. I don't think that's tightened down all the ways, but literally that would be it. If these were the right size, clearly they're not. You could probably put some washers on them and make them the right size, but that's how simple it is to install it. Now, once you've got that on there, you can take your rod holder, such as this one, or rod tube, whatever you want to call it, drop it in place. Oh, unlock it, drop it in place, and now you're locked, and it's good to go. You can adjust it real quick, the knob on the other side, however you want, tighten it back down, and you're good to go. Now granted, I'm not gonna run it like this. I've got to get better bolts. Those are the only two that I could find and had. Be warned, you need bigger bolts. And if I would have been smart and read, use only 1/4 by 20 by 7/8 stainless steel fasteners. That's the size you actually need for it to work, and I didn't pay attention to that. That's how you would rig up the Starport HD mounts to the Wilderness Systems iAtak. It's super simple. Like I said, drop in 4 bolts and you're good to go. And what's great about the Railblaza system is you can literally pop this out and then put in a cup holder right here, or put in a different type of rod holder if you don't like this one. Put a camera mount right here. Whatever you want to put right here, and Railblaza makes it, in this Starport pattern, you can drop it right in, plop it in there, lock it in place, and get to fishing. You can store it with this on there too. It doesn't take up too much room. It'll still roll up pretty nicely. But if you don't want to, it's as simple as just taking out the bolts and taking it off and then storing it without it. Now let's talk about the Railmount. I believe this is the right one. Hopefully it is, because I didn't know the exact size of this one, but we're about to find out. We're gonna put all this together and see how easy it is to mount it. Okay, pretty simple. Looks pretty straightforward to me. Oh, cool. So it comes with adapters of various size. Looks like that one might be the one I need, because I think that one's gonna be too small. Yep. There's another one in here that might actually make it fit snug. Oh, it's a rubber one too. I think I like that one. Yeah, I like that one. So it comes with a rubber adapter. That's kind of cool, which helps keep it from spinning. So that's the one we're gonna use. Or I said rubber adapter, rubber spacer. That's really the word I'm looking for. All right, so put this on the bottom, flip it over. Let's put this here. Actually, to make it easier, let's start upside down. And then we can switch it. Drop. I think that's actually gonna be the, yep, okay. I see what we're doing now. Helps if you read instructions and pay attention in school, kids. So, this one, there. Needs to go there. Needs to go there. Maybe, we'll see if it stays. Then this, oh, that's cool too. We'll put this on there. Oops, getting ahead of myself. Let's drop this on there. Now we're good to go. Guess I shouldn't have put those nuts in there yet. Make sure the holes are all lined up. Drop this in like so. There it is. There's that. For this one, we're gonna use a power tool, but if you're not handy with power tools, I don't necessarily recommend using a power tool, because you can, in fact, tighten it down too much and strip everything. So if you feel like you're doing that, stop immediately and finish immediately just with a little screwdriver. There, it's on. Now we can stop having so many problems, right? I doubt it. There's that. So what I'm doing is actually holding the nut on the bottom so it stops falling out, and then pushing it up, and there we go. Alrighty. So I really want to tighten these evenly. So there's more of a gap in this one, so I want to really tighten this one down. There we go. That's pretty much it. Those two little bolts go in, you set the nuts up tight. This still slides a little bit, which is all right, but there's enough tension here that if you were to set a fish finder on it, if you were to set a cup even, or a rod holder, it would hold it there pretty tightly. But like I said, it might still twist a little bit. I do like that because you can twist it and then get a cup holder, like say this one, or another side mounting accessory, and plop it in there and go, or turn it back up and you can put your fish finder mount right there too. So it's very adaptable to whatever you need and very easy to rig. Now the Wilderness Systems iAtak 110's got 1, 2, 3, 4 spots to put these Starport HDs as well. Now like I said, if you've got this specific kayak, you will need to get different bolts. However, these bolts that come with it probably work in different kayaks. And while my main camera died and I had to let it cool down, I actually went ahead and messed again with this mount and got it to set a little bit stronger and tighter. If I would have put this bolt right here it wouldn't have tilted so much and it would have actually secured it. So I could have used just 2 bolts. But if I was to really use this, like especially if I was trolling, I would really prefer to have 4 just for security's sake. Despite having bolt issues, and that's on my part because I didn't read the instructions, probably best to do that. These Starport HDs were super simple to install on this Wilderness Systems inflatable kayak because it already has the patterns pre-built in and the inserts in them. I also really appreciated the simplicity of the rail mounting system. So if you've got rails, even on your hard-sided kayak, or if you've got a John boat or a boat that has rails, those work great on it as well. But now let's talk a little bit about actually like how you should set it up. And the beauty of that is it's up to you. You know, I don't always enjoy a rod holder in front of me. Now when I'm catfishing, I prefer to have the rod holder in front of me. But if I'm bass fishing, I really don't like that rod holder in front of me. It just seems to get in the way of my paddle and everything. So up front, I might just have the cup holder. That way it's pretty low profile and it's somewhat out of the way of my paddle stroke and of me fighting fish even. And I would put the rod holders back behind me. On the rail mount, if I had another fish finder to mount, that's where I'd probably put my fish finder screen, simply because on that rail, I can actually flip it around and bring it closer to me or push it farther away. So if I need it out of the way, it's out of the way, or if I want it closer, it's closer. You could also put another rod holder there, but I just think it's a little bit far out of the way. So my biggest tip when rigging your kayak for fishing is to set it up how you think you want it, then get in it, set in it, reach for stuff, act like you're fishing out of it, and then adjust accordingly. And then when you get on the water, you're still gonna find that, okay, I need to tweak this a little bit more because actually when I paddle, I do this or whatever the case may be. But by testing it out before you put it on the water, you'll get to spend more time fishing and less time adjusting and getting frustrated with how you set it up. Railblaza also makes track mounted gear for hard-sided kayaks with tracks and for the Railblaza Gear Hub, which is a kayak crate that I strongly recommend. And if you want to learn more about the Railblaza Gear Hub, I've got a video right here where I explain who should buy it and who shouldn't buy it and everything that I liked and I didn't like about it.